My hometown and the town that I like to make fun of the most. I've lived here for 18 and a half out of the 19 years of my life, and boy, am I glad that I got out. This is a cyclist review of the city of Elk Grove. When Elk Grove started moving from a rural community to a suburban one, the developers had this vision in mind to make a completely different kind of suburb. It was supposed to be a walking community, one where people wouldn't absolutely need a car to get around, which is ideal for a cyclist. But the developers quickly overextended themselves and built beige house after beige house after beige house after beige house after beige house, and Elk Grove became exactly what it was trying not to be. They just slopped together all these beige houses because the developers knew that people would buy them, and this is where the money was at. Instead of actually trying to make a great city, the developers of Elk Grove just copy and pasted the same old malarkey that's been done in countless other cities to make that cookie cutter community that they could sell off in mass quantities. Then they tagged the name of Elk Grove alongside a half-decent city of Sacramento to make it look more appealing than it actually is. But it's not appealing. The same assets are used over and over again. It makes you feel like you're trapped inside some bad modern version of the Flintstones. You see house, Walmart, house, supermarket, house, Walmart, houses, Target. Makes you feel like you can't get out of this place. Everything is so spread out that it makes getting around without a car just flat out impractical. And speaking of flat, Elk Grove is one of the flattest places that you can be. Even the terrain here is boring. It has no diversity, and the only climbing that you could get, and if you can even call it that as a cyclist, are a couple of overpasses. Like everything else in Elk Grove, even the terrain was lazily created, and it makes for very monotonous and boring bike riding. With nothing of importance in Elk Grove, people have to drive out of the city and into Sacramento to find anything even remotely fun. And since there's nothing really here except for houses, most people work outside of the city. Therefore, they have to commute to work, and cars are king. This leaves very little room for cyclists, but that doesn't really matter because everything is so spread out and impractical to do anything by bike. Now, despite Elk Grove's numerous negative qualities, it does have some almost redeeming qualities. Most of the major streets here have bike lanes, for the most part, which makes riding here fairly safe. The downside to that, though, is that since cars are king here, you'll be riding right next to traffic traveling at about 50 miles an hour constantly, which can be a little unnerving. In summer, the weather can be scorching hot with consistent days of 98 degrees, which makes it pretty unsafe to even be outside during the day for any extended period of time. But at night, it all cools off, and Elk Grove has some pretty good street lighting in the neighborhoods, which makes cruising around with your friends at midnight a valuable option. Although the terrain is really boring and really flat, it does make getting around Elk Grove a little easier, which kind of compensates for how spread out everything is. And since Elk Grove is a family-centered suburb, that means we have no shortage of parks and green space. But that also means we have no shortage of children. Elk Grove is probably one of the most boring places that you can be, and even though, without a doubt, it really sucks, it's still a safe place, and it's still home to me, and it'll always be home to me. This is where my friends and family are. This is where I spend most of my life. This is where my fondest memories live. And for that reason, I give Elk Grove, California 6 beige houses and 1 Walmart out of 10 beige houses and 2 Walmarts.